Last session, we awoke in the. Well, I went to go speak to Drasilia to see if she could get us some more soldiers. By the looks of things, she didn't. And then we went to try and speak to Leopold Vespertine to try and gather some more troops. But he was unresponsive to the matter. And there was a riot going on at the King Hood. I say a riot. There was a crowd gathering, a protest as such, where we met Claude Voss of the Sapphire Crown Collective, which is one of the other political parties in Demetrial. Then, after that, we went to meet with the soldiers and the goons, where we met Aloric Thorn, the general. Did he survive?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And then we went and we got to Varlin, and it was under siege from the ghouls. At which point we broke off into two parties. There was 400 men, LDB, Pigley, and Aloric, and then 600 goons with myself and Antonio Carluccio. Then we eventually made our way to the tower that was sprouting out of the Zen Garden. We made our way up where we saw Erasmus had Elena and Thalara chained up, and it seemed as though he was siphoning their life force in one way or another.
Oh.
We managed to defeat the zombies and the first stage boss fight of Erasmus, before Erasmus then got taken away into the rift by what Pigley found out after touching the gem was potentially 3 silhouettes. And then we made our way down the tower, and then we were splitting off into 3 separate parties. I was going to head to find Antonio at the docks. LDB and Pigley, who is unconscious, were going to go and try and find Thalara and Elena with the unicorn. And I sent Crezion to the Frost Inn.
That we did. Yeah. I want to get a bearing for where you guys are at the moment. Well, where your characters are at the moment, mentally. So,
I don't know, I'm unconscious.
Yeah.
Solved.
Well, we'll get to the disabled shortly. So,
comatose people go last.
Yeah, as in real life as well.
Okay.
Skull. After the battle, after the events that have occurred, how are you feeling right now?
I don't know about the others, but I feel as though Fiscal still has some adrenaline running through him. He's starting to crash, and his head's kind of wrapping around the carnage that has unfolded to Varlin. He's a bit disheveled, I guess. It's a big loss for. Although he hasn't known a lot of these people a long time, he had formed bonds with certain people within Varlin. And whether or not they're harmed, unharmed, dead, alive, is kind of all starting to slowly flood into his mind. But first and foremost, he wants to know why on earth Antonio Carluccio is headed to the docks. But in the back of his mind, it is also playing on him, where the hell did that unicorn take Thalara and Elena? Because I really should have been more specific.
Excellent. Okay. As these thoughts are going through your mind, we'll cut to LDB. What is he
LDB.
thinking? What is he feeling at the moment?
In all honesty, he's feeling aroused. Okay. He's just gone through battle. He absolutely loves battle. Right? He's all over it. The adrenaline's still flowing through his body. He's still got veins pumping down his arms. He's just really happy. But the realization is setting in that Varlin was a pretty town, and he likes pretty towns, and he likes pretty people, and there might be some dead pretty people around. So yeah, but he likes fighting, you know. He gets his rage up, so he's still feeling pretty pumped, but he is slowly realizing that things are destroyed around him. He's going, oh, bit sad, bit not good. This.
I see. Piggly,
Yeah.
Roll for initiative.
I'm a
you
bit
passed
scared.
out, okay? And in your mind, the instant that you touched that gem, you were transported up into the rift. And in front of you, you saw 3 impossibly large cosmic beings, each with distinct variations and visuals, and each giving off a different kind of aura. As soon as you had saw them, to everyone else, it looked like you'd collapsed. In your mind, though, you were pulled into the rift. And what you find when you're in the rift is a realm that is completely blackened. There seems to be obelisks in the distance, impossibly tall. And far off, you can see a skull, a huge skull, almost the size of these obelisks in the background, that is currently half sunken into the ground, with one of the eyes looking in your direction. Around you, there are green cracks in the ground, and there's mist and smoke everywhere. And you also see some of the obelisks are mirror-like in quality, and they're reflecting lights that you not sure where the source is coming from. But as the lights start to refract, it gives a weird underwater kind of sensation as you're looking around the area. It doesn't appear to have any rhyme or reason, any direction you should head into. The only focal point that you can see is the skull in the distance. What do you do?
Ooh. I'm gonna walk towards the skull, see if it's Daddy.
Daddy.
Okay. You take a few steps towards the skull, and then a few more steps, and more steps following those steps. Yeah, you're walking towards it, and the ground below you seems to give way pretty easily, almost like what was left here was undisturbed clumps of ash, basically. So as you're walking, it looks like below the ash is a marbled reflective surface with the green cracks appearing to emanate from there, giving light from underneath you. And as you're stepping closer to the skull in the background, the eye appears to now illuminate. And as it does, you watch the obelisks chime in a discordant kind of harmony as they seem to reflect and refract the light in the eye. And you hear a familiar voice.
It's Daddy.
Well, not your daddy, but yes.
Can you start referring to him as Varathan, please?
No.
Or at
Varlin
least-
is Daddy.
Or at least Daddy Varathan.
You feel as though, well, I'm not going to tell you how you feel. How do you feel right now, Piggly?
Pretty aroused. Daddy
I
Varathan
hate you. I hate you
has
so
come to
much.
find me again.
Well, he's not come to find you.
Ooh.
You've stumbled into
His domain.
his domain, a store of power within the artifact. You have no idea what's going on in the world, in the waking world around you, but you gather that whatever this realm is connected to the artifact, but also is connected to Varathan. And as you step closer, you hear a voice reverberating from the skull in front of you. And as it's reverberating, the obelisks seem to shake a little bit. And the voice says to you, "You found me at last, Piggly.
Where am I?
This is the domain of my one and only defeat, and also my greatest store of power. You have stumbled into the world of Dolumvar." As he gives you the information, you look to your right instinctively, and there, hovering just a foot away from you, starting now to spin on its axis and rotate around you like a celestial body in orbit, is the artifact that Erasmus had placed at the center of the ritual. You sense from the artifacts no hostility, there's no ill intent, there's no strange feeling or anything like that. All you sense from the object is the same as what you sense around the plane here, and that is the sense of Varathan. This is his power that's been distilled, basically, into that artifact. I'm not sure what you caught of the description that I gave in the previous session, but the artifact is a crystal that is set upon 3 skulls, and the bottom of the crystal has got almost wrapping around it skeletal hands. And the actual artifact itself is about as big as from the bottom of your chest to the top of your head. So it's quite large for you. But while you're in this area, Varathan speaks the name Dolan Var, and the obelisks reverberate. He says, "One of the sorcerers seek to bring back the 3. You may have already seen the vision. Tell me, which one did you feel the most dread from?"
Definitely say the puppet then. That sounds like something straight out of a horror movie.
The 3 that you see are the 3 skulls on the artifact. There was a time that I had overtaken each of those 3 of great and immense power and channeled their essence into this artifact. It distorts all magic that enters the crystal. You have already had a taste of this from what I saw through the crystal, and that power may yet be yours. But you must prove yourself. You have already aided in the destruction of Arendor's temple under Varlin,
Bitch.
and for that I bestow upon you a gift. And the skull on the other side, again, it's now just dawned on you really just how large the skull on the other side is, and you're not sure now just as to the scale of, is this Varathan's actual skeletal remains? Is this just a conceptual plane? You're not sure. You've never seen a plane that's customized or reflecting of the individual on a scale this large before. You've heard of spells that can do things like this, but not on this scale, not with this ominous sense, and not with this type of magic. Necromancy doesn't really lend itself to this power. But as he speaks, his eye lights up. It flickers for a second, so it goes dim. And as his eye goes dim, the light, ominous light that was around in the whole area, dims as well. And then as it flickers back on, the cracks in the ground start to glow, and the power is drawn from the area, and it lands around in the cracks around you, and the light under the ground starts to shine. And you watch as many cracks start appearing where you're stood. And you first feel fear from this, but as you're given to understand through the various numbers of Varathan's blessings, you've nothing to fear yet. And the cracks start to give way as skeletal hands start breaking under the ground and grabbing at you. And the eyes of familiar skeletons and faces appear on the ground. And at first their words are very muffled, and you can't really understand or hear what they're saying. But as they speak, and as they continue to speak, the words become clearer and clearer until you're fully able to understand what they're saying. You also gather that with the way that Varathan has been bestowing these gifts to you, that your original gift or the original power that's been lent to you is something. You had this feeling before the first time you got the fear spell gifted to you, but you have a feeling that this is something that will continue to deepen over time for as long as you pursue Varathan's interests on the plane, the material plane. As Varathan is just channeled this energy into you, he says, for as long as the crystal of Dolumvar is by your side, I will be by your side. The three will not be able to touch thee.
What happened in Dolumvar?
Dolumvar is the site of my only failure. There are magics and plots at work that you will never understand, and in time I may reveal them to you. But now is not the time.
So what do you need me to do now then?
Yeah. So as you ask him that question, the ground starts to shake, and he says, "Find more temples. Every temple you destroy, the more power I can give you, the more of my power you may borrow." It seems at this point, Piggly, that Varathan, this is like a moment where you can ask questions. Obviously, there's some things that Varathan isn't willing to explain to you right now, because even though you've aided him by destroying this temple to Arendor, his trust in you hasn't deepened that much. So he's not willing to give you all the information that he knows.
I had troubles destroying the first temple in Varlin. So what does it take to actually destroy them after I tried to destroy that statue?
Persistence, young one. The power of Arendor is stagnant. It is a means to keep that which is present and keep it that way. Nothing may move, nothing may change, but I present to you the power to change anything. The power of unlife. I felt it once in you at Priesel. You defy the odds, and that is something that I value in you. And so if you wish to destroy these temples, you must persist. The power of Arendor is great, for he is a deity, but his works on this plane are not.
If the artifact is used to bring back these three beings, what would happen if someone else got the artifact from me?
The artifact is a means to siphon and channel arcane energy. It can be done through many other artifacts. It just so happened that bumbling fool Erasmus happened upon mine. In truth, I do not know how he secured it, but there are many artifacts that possess similar powers. If someone does come for your artifact, should they prove a better match, I will abandon you.
Daddy issues.
Dick. Is there anything else I can use this artifact for?
The power that changed your magic is the very nature of this realm. Should you wish, whatever meager power you may yet have, you may channel the arcane flux again, should you power the artifact with your own arcane energy. To that end, he seems to be hinting that if you were to channel a certain level of spell, basically, through that crystal, it would refract and it tune to it in such a way that you could gain the effects of that wild magic. So you could gamble your magic, basically.
That's pretty sick. We could all have unicorns.
Well, let's relax.
I am all
So I
over
can
the
essentially do whenever I can use the Dolamvar to use the D100 roll to see what the fuck happens.
Only on leveled spells.
Yeah.
And in order for the power, because you've only just recently had it, you will be quote unquote attuned to it, but you've not unlocked the full power of it yet. So what you would have to do if you wanted to, if you just want the spell to go off, you just don't fire it through the entity. But if you do want it to go off, you fire the spell through it. You roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, the wild magic takes effect. On a 4 to 6, it doesn't. You just cast the spell normally. And then if you get a 1 or a 3, then you roll the d100 basically to see what the spell effect is.
Yeah.
Okay, Piggly, are you saying anything else to him?
How can I contact you again?
You may echo through the Dolamvar. And should your audience be required, I will allow it.
So does that mean you can pull me in here if you need to speak with me?
Correct. By the way, Piggly, you have the ability, should you choose, and you have always had this ability, to gather the magical artifacts necessary to craft and create your own spells.
Mhm.
How do
So
I
if you
craft and
think
create
you've
my
got
spells?
the idea for a spell that you want to try and make, send me the details, and then I will let you know if that's possible, and then I can just homebrew it for you. So if you wanted a spell like tungsten balls, for example, a nice little easy little 4th level spell, you could do that.
Tungsten balls, baby, put up.
Would I
And
also
do
be
it
able
to
to
me.
find someone who can create weapons to use, say, the Dolamvar to create a weapon with that, like a staff with the Dolamvar at the end of it?
Well, there's something interesting that will come about that in a second. But for right now, while we're in the realm, is there anything thou would desire to bequeath upon the High Lord Varathan?
What temples can I go for next?
The temples of Arendor are many, and they are hidden below the mantle of the earth. You found one, but that was a fledgling temple, lost to time. I believe Erasmus intended to use the divine energy for his own deeds. To what end, I'm not sure. He meant to siphon the energy through my vessel, the Dolumvar, and cast it into the tear.
Where did he find the Dolamvar?
Yeah, he doesn't. Varathan, he said before, he has no idea where he got the
Right.
Dolumvar. But it happened upon his possession, and he's used it at the center of that arcane ritual, siphoning the energy from the Zen Garden and Arendor's temple, and it was activated by way of draining the life force from Elena and what's her name, Thalara, because they were both high in innate arcane energy just in their flesh naturally, and so they were considered suitable candidates to activate and open up the Dolumvar. From what you gather, with your character being extremely intelligent, is that the Dolumvar crystal, at the time that you first encountered it, was initially just siphoning and drawing all the natural residual arcane energy from the town. Whatever that may have caused in terms of the overlaying magics in the town, you're not sure. But while it was siphoning that energy, it was casting it into the rift above. And the 3 figures that you saw, the 3 celestial entities, they had been draining the power through the rift. So it looks like one by one, Erasmus, for whatever purpose, intends to draw out places of power, like Arendor's temples, for example, and use that energy to power these 3 beings, or to give more energy to these 3 beings.
Is Erasmus here now then? Because he got sucked up
Erasmus
into a
in the room
portal
with us?
into the same sort of realm, into a
I'm
different
guessing
sort
an
of
E.
realm, didn't he? So is he in Dolan Var now? Like trapped there?
No. Erasmus is not in this area. You get the impression someone as powerful, or seemingly as powerful as Varathan, has diverted you away from the rift into his realm to protect you, basically, from wherever it was that Erasmus got sucked up into. But Erasmus looked like he was being forcibly taken. He didn't want to go, but he was forcibly taken, and you're not sure where. You gather that from what Varathan said, what you've seen, that Erasmus was initially just in it for the Mortarkind, boost his own power, but now seemingly has become involved in something beyond his wildest imagining.
Is there a
Varathan-
temple in Demetriel?
You watch as the area around you now starts to quake, and the skeletons that were around your feet are trembling now, as Varathan realizes a power, and he says, "There must be. There is a ward in that town. Seek it and destroy it."
Then I'll go there next then.
You watch as Varathan, the power in his eyes starts to flare now brightly, and before you, seemingly out of nowhere, a black skeleton appears. The skulls, the bones on the skeleton are obsidian, matching the reflective nature of the monuments and the obelisks in the distance. And he reaches a hand to you, and he touches you on the chest. And at first, it feels a bit piercing, like a needle going through the center of your chest. You look down, and the clothes that were around you, your robes, start to tear as if they're being sucked into your chest in a whirling motion. And then as you look down, the hand pulls out, and there is a mark, almost like a scar, that looks like a swirl into a central point on your chest. And it's got this obsidian sheen over it. And Varathan says, "Remember, what I give you is a gift, but should you fail me, it will become a curse." And as he says that, you watch as the obelisks around you start to crumble and shatter, and the ground beneath you starts to crack and give way. And in the same way that you had your very first vision and you fell through that hole in the ground with a massive earthquake that was tearing the land asunder, a familiar sight now is before you as you start falling and tumbling into the darkness. And just as you think you're about to hit terminal velocity and pass out and die, you wake up groggy in the real world on LDB's shoulder, clutching the Dolanvar crystal tightly on your chest. You guys are now walking through the ruins of Varlin. The ashes still smouldering. There are a few fires that are still lit. Piggly, you've come to now. How do you feel?
Like I have a lot more information than I had before about Varathan.
Do you sense that there's a deeper understanding now between... Well, it's no longer as one-sided as it was. But you also feel a little sort of dull pain in your chest. And as you look down through your robe, you lift your sort of robe up, you look down, and there is that swirl with the same obsidian material on it. LDB,
Oh,
you're walking. What were you guys doing here? You were looking for someone, was it? Or
Solara,
unicorn.
Elena, and the unicorn.
just the unicorn,
Okay.
actually. Forget the other two.
give me a perception check. And Piggly,
Alright
you
then.
as well, if you want to help.
Perception check.
I'll
I
let you
actually
see
know
what
exactly
comes
where that
after.
is. There it is. Bash. Oh, that's a high number.
What did
10.
you get? A 10?
Yes.
Okay. Piggly,
Halfway.
did you say
That's
you were
good enough,
helping or no?
Yeah.
I think he was waiting till I rolled to see if my
second, there
shit
we go.
rolled to the
Yeah.
yes. There it is.
20. Not 20.
Okay, we'll go with Piggly's roll on that one. I think.
Not 20. Okay.
If we must. If we must.
You seemingly have awoken from this very peaceful coma and your senses are heightened to the extreme, and you are looking around. First of all, you see a lot of death and destruction. You see some fires that are still smouldering. You also see that LDB seems to be walking with his eyes rolled back in his head, which isn't unusual, but strikes you as odd that after a battle, he's got his eyes rolled back. And as you turn to look at his face in a bit more detail, he's gritting his teeth, and there's a gnashing sound.
Indeed.
The last thing you saw, or the last thing you remember seeing, was two guards, or two like soldiers walking up to you, two blue capes, or walking in your direction, and
Yep.
then your eyes were drawn to some of the flaming remains, basically, of the very sort of charred corpses on the ground. And although you felt the rush of battle and the adrenaline, you also felt a bit of guilt and sort of remorse. And as both of those conflicting high intensity emotions are in your mind, you see a faded visage in the dying flames. Almost familiar, but when you see it, it ignites a sudden sharp pain in your head, and you, in your mind, you hear an all-encompassing scream. Not sure where the scream is coming from, but as you hear it, there's a ringing and a shrieking in your ears, and the pain increases at the same rate as the scream's intensity increases. And all of a sudden, the world around you has blurred and shifted, and currently you're standing amidst an inferno, flames all around you licking at the sky, and the air is thick with the stench of burning flesh and blood. And in the center of this hellish scene, there stands a large, shadowy figure. From the distance you are, it looks, well, it's indistinct. You can't really make out many features on it. You just see it's huge, it's hulking, it has one massive sword that is swinging around, and it's wielding it against anything around them. And you can tell the only things that are illuminated are its eyes and its teeth from its grin. And as it's smiling and slashing, the scream that you heard in your head before is the scream of the people or the figures that are being torn up by this central one. And the central one, as it kills, it seems to be growing larger and larger. Do me a favor, give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, goody.
Oh.
Wisdom saving throw. 20. 19 plus 1.
19 plus 1, okay. The fire around you is singeing your skin, and the pain is there, but it's not enough to force you away from the image in front of you. As you step forward, you hear the screams getting louder as horrible, sickening sounds. You've been in the sounds of battle, but this just sounds like bone scraping on bone, sinew being snapped. You hear nothing but the screams, the sword slashes, and the fire burning. There's pools and rivers of blood flowing around the figure's feet, winding its way through the burning debris and bodies straight to where you are. And in this scene of sort of visceral, unrelenting violence, your heart starts pounding in your chest. Each beat is echoing in your ears. Do me a favor, Dan. Give me another wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh,
That one.
it was close. 18.
18.
Yeah.
Okay. You step closer and closer, and this time the figure in front of you stops hacking away at the crowd around you, and it starts to look into your direction. And now it starts walking towards you. It looks like its body is made of smoke and ash. Its eyes burning, its teeth glinting, and it's smiling at you. And now it starts to pick up speed, and you're feeling dread again as it's running towards you. Go ahead and give me another wisdom saving throw, please.
12.
Okay. You watch as this thing is about to touch you, about to grab you, to do whatever it is intending to do. You snap back into the real world. The sounds of fire are still around you, and there's a ringing in your ears. And as your vision starts to focus, Piggly, what you saw on the outside was, while you were on LDB's shoulder, you watched as he started breathing heavy, almost as if he was going into a rage, but this time it feels different. And he walked up to the guards that were walking in your direction and just immediately started throttling them.
Like a fucking Hulk rage.
Yeah. He started strangling them right in front of you, one arm on each throat.
Fucking go on, son.
Did you, Piggly, do you want to do anything to try and stop it?
No.
What the fuck?
No! That was so fucking.
For you.
No, I shan't.
Well, if they die, I could use Animate Dead, then I've got friends.
You little bastard. You just basically, you look around with your nat 20. There's no other guards in the area. You don't really care if these two die. So whatever it is that LDB is doing or going through, you're not really too bothered. But you figure this is going to get some interesting friends for you, like you said. And as you watch LDB starts to crush and crush and crush their necks until eventually the blood is coming out of the nose and the ears of the people. The two guards in there. These are blue capes as well. And they both simultaneously cough up blood as the final throes of life leave their body. And at that moment, after your numerous attempts to save LDB from killing these random guards, LDB, you watch the vision now is gone, and you're now back face to face in the real world. And in front of you, there are two guards that you currently have your hands around their necks, and seemingly they're dead.
Oh, okay. Shit! What the fuck did I do that for?
You tell me.
Did anyone see who did this? What the These guys just died! Out of nowhere!
Strangled them, you dumbass.
Me?
I just watched you
Okay.
do it.
Oh, okay. Fuck. I feel really guilty. I feel really bad.
I could have done something to stop you, but
Piggly.
What's the fun of that?
It would
Why
have been
would
better
you
if you did
admit
tell me
that?
that, Piggly! It would have been better if you did tell me that.
I tried to stop you, I promise, but nothing happened.
I tried to stop you, but I didn't do anything.
They're not actually dead, though.
Ta-da!
I use Animate Dead.
I literally am filled with so much
See, they're
remorse
alive!
that I'm scared of what I've just witnessed, and I'm hyperventilating.
Okay. LDV, you felt there's a sensation that you feel when you go into a rage. And for you, the rage is either fueled by anger or by the enjoyment of battle. You want to get into the fray. So you know what that feeling feels like. This time, something about the burning bodies and the two strong emotions that you felt seemed to take you back into your own mind. And when you were confronted with this huge beast, you felt a different kind of rage born from fear, and it took over you. And in this case, it resulted in the death of these two guardsmen.
I'm glad no one tried to stop me.
Or not the death of these two guardsmen, because they're now apparently
Alive.
Thank God I didn't kill them. because I don't know the difference, obviously, because I'm not very smart. So I'm like, oh, thank fuck, they're all right. Poof! I got worried, then I killed them guys.
Yeah, you're stood now. There's 2 bodies. You watch as Piggly drops the crystal that you saw him carrying, and it seems to hover as he drops it before it hits the ground. In some sort of inertia, it seems to sort of hover and then whip around your head, hovering just behind where Piggly is as he lets it go. And seemingly, it appears to just disappear.
Oh.
Piggly, you still sense it there, but visually, it's no longer there anymore.
Oh fuck! I shit myself. Thought I lost it though.
you
Shit! I've lost it already. Fuck.
you go to cast the spell, and LDB, it's a good thing that you're not too bright because you strangle these guys to death, and you watch as Piggly goes to just touch their corpses with some magic. You only I think you only have it under your command for 24 hours.
Yeah.
At which point
What
it
time is
stops obeying you. It's you got there about 12, so we'll say now it's probably about, it's just gone daybreak, I would say.
Okay.
So probably about 8ish at this time.
All right.
Okay, but originally, yeah, you were trying to locate Alara, the unicorn, and Elena, and you spend a bit of time looking, but all you find are bodies and remains. It occurs to you that probably best place to look for life, if people were sheltering, would probably be the tavern. So you make your way over there. Is there anything you want to do
Dan.
while you? What are you saying?
Back to see Dan.
Well, yeah, if you see Dan.
He's alive.
He's right
Not for long.
here. I mean, personally, I want to
so
find my Hoa, but
there's a lot of dead. But I mean, if you want to, you can make a check to try and find her if she's.
I
if
want
she's
to
in
find
the
her
battlefields. You want to find
alive.
her? Okay, I'll say for this because you're no longer looking for the Lara. Give me another perception check.
He says, Seth
Both
Sharon,
of
nat
us.
20.
You actually got that 20.
Oh, it was! It did, yeah!
Damn.
Call it before you get it, baby!
I am rolling shit this session. I can already.
Call
feel
it before you get it! Bro, if you just say nat 20, you'll get one, apparently, alright? Trust me.
Yep.
It's just foolproof, okay? It works.
You are very
If
familiar.
you say I
with,
find her body, I will come to your house in Manchester, stab
you're
you.
very familiar with the intimate details of Seraphina. She's someone that you've gotten to know quite well, and so you're pretty confident that you could pick out her anywhere. And as you're walking around the town, there's a few sort of other soldiers just knocking about, and it looks like they're taking down some of the profane, what do you call them, effigies almost of some of the townsfolk that were pinned up against these makeshift crosses. And LDB, what you see before you is one of the townsfolk gently bringing down the now deceased and burnt corpse of Seraphina.
I'm on my knees, bawling my fucking eyes out, bro.
You dropped.
Jesus, I'm dropping to my knees like a big. You know, like in a dramatic war film, it's like.
Yeah.
Like with both my knees, I was like that. I'm like.
You also see amongst the corpses and the ash, there's a figure. You're distraught now over obviously what you've seen that's happened to Seraphina, but there's
In
a
absolute
figure
pieces.
that's one of the soldiers is now sort of putting the bodies straight, basically trying to get some semblance of organization so they can bury the bodies or consecrate the grounds, whatever the case is. And they seem to be handling the bodies very gently. And so while you're mulling over the feelings of loss and guilt and regret and grief, you spot a body that's sort of rolled up almost in like a fetal position, clutching a burlap sack. And you can see from some of the features that you can make out is the body of Carrion,
Oh.
and he looks like he fell to the shambling horde, and the destruction that followed shortly after. But like I said, the one thing that catches your vision is
The
that
sack.
he's holding on to something.
Oh, Carrion! Isn't he friends with a dude in Dimitri?
It's his
His
cousin.
cousin, yeah.
That's his cousin.
Carrion.
Wow, we got some news for you.
Yeah.
Oh, Carrion didn't deserve that, did he?
He didn't. No, he really didn't. I mean, I guess it's not like you guys were given a time scale or anything.
He didn't deserve that, but he's dead now.
Yeah, he's unfortunately
Oh,
expired.
lucky he's got that burlap sack that I could just go, oh, hello, mate. Carrion, I never cared for you. I cared for your trade and your skill, but not for you. But you shall be clean.
Only when you're clean.
Only when you're clean.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, what do you found a body.
I will grab the sack.
Okay, you go over.
Oh, my
to
eyes
it
are still filled with tears, I must say.
Yeah, you grab the sack. It feels quite weighty, and you
Damn.
open it up, and within there you can see the one thing he promised you before he unexpectedly died was the helmet of the head. Of
Yeah,
the
baby.
helmet.
I wipe my eyes and I just go, an eye for an eye.
Yeah. It looks like it was finished. The only thing that this image doesn't capture is that it's a little bit burnt now. It looks like the feathers on the top were burning a little bit from the heat, and they seem to be perpetually burning. Doesn't look like it's going out, but there's a wider mane at the back, so it's like a short,
like a long
plume
mane that goes
starts at
down,
the
sort of
top.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Got
Yeah,
you.
a long mane of feathers, but it also looks like from where you're inspecting it, there's a slot on the front of the helmet where a gem was supposed to go,
Oh,
or some kind of additional final element was supposed to go.
can I look through Carrion's pockets quick?
He's got no pockets, bro. He's burnt to a crisp.
Okay, can I look through Carrion's bump? I
You
just
may
rip it
if you
open. Nope, nothing in there.
wish.
If only you had some sort of gem that you've just been carrying around with you.
Well, my horny gem.
The aphrodisiac gem.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of. One touch is all it takes, baby.
So that's all you find in the sack. Unfortunately, it looks
Okay.
like that's the only thing you have time to work on.
Oh, that's all, boys.
So yeah, you found the helmet. You can tell a lot of effort was put into this because there's carvings and all kinds of embellishments on it. A lot of care was put. The actual front of it has the actual top part of the beak of the owl, which you remember you did request.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
And the eyes don't have any yellow tinge on them, but one of the sides, because you're blind on one eye, does
Of course.
have instead of you being able to see out of that eye, it does have it's covered up basically that side, and it's got
Oh,
feather
cool.
patterns of like an owl eye on that side,
Oh, I know.
which it's slightly tinted a different metal, so it almost looks like half owl, half raging barbarian Goliath.
Half LDB, half horny barbarian. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bit confused.
But yeah, as you sort of put the helmet on, and you feel the cold steel on the back of your head, and you're looking at the bodies, and then again Seraphina
Oh.
crushed in front of you. But
Oh.
you get the familiar sensation of what you had before, where you blacked out.
Yeah.
But it's not as all encompassing this time.
You
But
sad.
it looks as though that's a new sensation now. that you-
Seraphina, bro, I blew a buck out.
Not the last time, bro. You left her hanging the last time.
No, but it had to be done, bro. For the political prowess, alright?
Fair enough. Okay.
No, I feel bad. I
well,
left her with a bad fuck. Oh well.
Piggly,
That's me.
what are you doing right now?
That's me.
I'm currently riding one of my lackeys.
Hang on.
Oh.
Explain that.
Pause.
He has a backpack, and I'm sitting in it.
Oh, okay, not his
He's
giant.
now my ride.
Pause.
I mean, that'll be later when we get to the
Let's
fucking
get into it.
trailer. So.
Actually, but
You see, none of the guards seem to be paying attention to the two skeletons that are walking
Zombies.
around. No, the skeletons. They get raised as skeletons.
They get raised as zombies.
They get raised as skeletons, bro. It says it right there. Pile of bones.
So yeah, if they're a pile of bones, if they're a corpse, they get raised as a zombie. Since he only strangled them to a point where the blood was coming out of them and shit. Technically, they're a corpse, so they're a zombie.
Here we go. Let me prove you wrong right here, guys. This is the power of someone who reads, okay? Your spell imbues the target with foul mimicry of life, raising it as an undead creature. The target becomes a skeleton if you choose, or a zombie. So that was me, actually. I
was like, is this going somewhere? Is this the
No, it's not.
or a zombie? All right, yeah, go on.
Two shambling
Power
zombies.
of reading. I've read it and I'm wrong. Okay.
Hey, listen. All right, reading is hard. Okay. So you're being carried around by these guys. Where are you guys heading to?
Am I walking with you, Piggly? I would think I should. I've obviously gone like, oh my god, everything's fucking dead, everything's shit. But I'm gonna see you walking away and follow you.
Yeah, you guys spend a bit of time looking around, and you can't find any traces of Valara, nor Elena, nor a unicorn.
That's not good.
We'll go to the tavern then.
And go to where the tavern was.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way down towards the tavernous area. Kreziorn is circling above. And you see that the tavern, the actual structure, the walls of it, yeah, it has been destroyed and teared down. But it does look like there is the remains of what is effectively a charred rosebud, large rosebud, covering where the like the bar area would be. It looks like it hasn't bloomed yet, but basically it looks like it's shielding something from within. But the outside of it is scorched and it's been torn at, and there's many dead zombies sort of around it, with vines and thorns growing out of them. Yeah, you approach the area, the Rose or the tavern, and it doesn't look like there's any way to enter the tavern, or there's any way to enter this Rose thing. It looks like it is just sort of charred and been sealed basically from the outside. Interestingly enough, Piggly, you will note that as you walk forward with these zombies, the vines and the thorns start to slowly move towards you.
Ooh, sex.
I'm gonna back off a little bit then. I'll hop off my zombies and hop on LDB instead, and leave them to guard.
You command them
just
to
away
stand
from
still.
them.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
From the vines.
Okay.
Do you want to walk up with you on me, Piggly, or no?
I'm with you.
And be like, and do you want me to go and knock on the rosebud with you on me, or do you want me to leave it?
Yeah, I'll do it with you.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Can I go up and just like, hello, knock knock?
You can, yeah. You shout, hello, anybody there? And you start banging on the rose petal. And it's, as you bang on it, you realize that you're basically just slamming into ash on the side. And so you start doing it at like random areas, and then one area doesn't look as damaged, and you start slamming on that. And you watch as it gives way slightly.
Oh, okay.
Do it more.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep banging on that.
Okay, you keep slamming into it. As you slam into it, doesn't seem to be doing that much, but as you keep repeating that motion over and over and over, eventually that side of the rose petal, or that one singular sort of leaf, starts to bloom on its own, and you watch as it unfurls, and rose petals flow out of it, and inside you can see Dan.
Oh, we're up.
A few townsfolk, and
but not
Liliana.
Seraph. Yep.
No, unfortunately no. And Liliana is, how can I explain this? She's part of the rose wall, and her eyes are closed. It looks like she's concentrating.
Fucking hell, we always fucking hurt this bitch, don't we?
You know, in yeah, you really do actually. You know, in Guardians of the Galaxy where Groot did that big ball thing,
Oh yeah,
and he was
yeah.
like, he was the ball. Basically, it looks like this is what's happened. She's through
She's like
whatever,
part of it.
yeah, whatever druidic magic. She's now the centerpiece of that, and she's the only thing that's keeping this rose wall up. And as you sort of break through, you can see Danvar is holding like an upturned chair stool, and he's getting ready to attack you. And then when he sees you, he's like, "What? What's going on?"
Whoa, Dan, chill, mate. It's LDB and Piggly, you know us.
Aye, I know you.
What's
Last
happening,
I
man?
saw, last I saw, the whole town was. I don't know what fucking accent I gave this guy. I'm gonna be real. With you.
I feel like
He
he should be
says,
Scottish.
"Last I saw, it was the whole town was burning."
You would be
Fun.
right in that, Dan.
Where the fuck were you?
Oh shit.
We
Committing
were fighting off the
buggery in the
Hulk.
streets of Demetru.
Buggery, is it? It's okay.
Buggery's back on
I
the menu, boys. No, we were,
he-
generally though we were in fighting pits making lots of money. So,
Oh, aye. Well, that must be nice for some.
well, not for
We've
me.
been
I was
out
getting
here-
beaten up, mate.
Be honest with me. We've been in here for a good few days now.
Ooh.
What's it like out there?
I will be honest with you, Dan. There's a lot of death.
As you say that, you watch as his body goes a little bit limp, and he sort of drops the stool that he was holding onto the ground. And he turns towards the townsfolk, and then he looks towards you. And he's like, "Is there anywhere safe for them to go?"
Not that we know of yet, Dan. But I'm sure we could take you to some guards, and they could keep you safe. Unless you want to stay here, of course, with Liliana, the Rose.
I think I'll stay here. I've never seen this before. I don't know if she's gonna snap out of it, or if she's done.
What if we just shake her a bit? Think she'll wake up?
No,
Fucking
don't-
backhand.
Wait,
don't
the
touch her,
fuck
please.
up! Don't touch her, please. Oh, thank you.
Back off, alright? Get back.
Oh, mate, whoa! Put the stool down! He's got a stool!
As you look at him, he's very high strung. He's on edge. There's a lot of emotions. He's probably starving, thirsty, like most of the other townsfolk in here. And his eyes are bloodshot red. Yeah, he's in a very bad way at the moment. He's like, "No, I'll take care of Liliana. You take these townsfolk and just leave me here."
Before we leave, can we ask him, like, what the fuck happened? What happened? How did it happen so fast?
I don't know. It's all of a sudden there was screams outside, and Liliana was, well, she was tending to some of the dish. I can't even remember, but at one point we went outside because of all the ruckus, and people were running in all sorts of directions. There was fire falling from the sky, and then those red ghouls turned up. And Erasmus, that little bastard, was floating above him the whole way. It was like a procession of the dead. I don't even know. But I turned to Liliana, and her eyes were focused, and immediately she started to grab people into the tavern. And as the fire fell on the tavern, she looked at me and she said, I'm sorry, and then next thing I knew, we were surrounded by this.
That's crazy, dog. Should we get her a get well soon card, or?
Just leave me with her.
Alright, then. We'll leave you with it. We'll take these townsfolk to some guards. You haven't seen a unicorn, have you?
You taking the piss?
Just need to ask these things, Dan, alright? There's been a lot of crazy shit going on. Alright?
I thought you guys were alright, but you're proper dickheads, man.
Hey! Put this chair down. We'll talk properly, alright?
Yeah, fucking bastard.
Yeah, wee little bastard.
Bet you vote SMP
You
too.
tiny
You fucking
little-
weirdo, mate.
he actually turns and he motions for the townsfolk to sort of leave, and there's a few like sort of kids huddled up, and they all end up cautiously awaiting your instruction. Okay, so is there anything further you guys want to do or explore?
Well, should we still be looking for that unicorn? Do you think, Brendan?
Yes.
We're gonna keep looking, guys.
Yeah. I feel like we should go find it.
Like Thalara and Elena are still with it.
All right, we found some guards. We found these kids. Look after them.
What? Children?
Yep.
Where did you find them?
I can't tell you that.
Bit weird of you to say that, sir.
It was over by the tavern with the tavern keeper and that.
Tavern keeper's alive.
Don't know. You should get someone on that probably.
Okay.
It's very weird over there. It's very
I guess
arcanic.
Very bugged.
Okay. Fair
Where
enough.
else can we look for the fucking unicorn?
Leave the kids with me and the townsfolk, and I'll make sure they stay safe.
We could see
Thank
if they
you
were in
very
our
much, sir.
little old secret lair bit.
That's
got
where cows
blown
go,
up. Yeah, I'm going that way.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll let him do that. Can we go to where the garden
Gold
was?
maybe?
Zen garden was.
Oh, yeah, Zen Garden.
Where the
yeah.
Zen Garden was is the tower where you had the battle with.
That was that
Erasmus.
bit. Oh, okay. I thought...
Yeah, that was all
That was-
destroyed.
Oh.
Go check the
Where's
guild
the
hall
look?
area there.
Where's the look? Yeah, to be fair, yeah. Or like the area around the. What about if we check the area around where the Zen Garden was? See if they're just like. Well, I guess we would have been there, though, wouldn't we? See?
Probably is.
Or,
Yeah, Fiscal would have been there.
go guild hall then, I guess, eh?
Okay. You make your way
Just
up.
moseying about, looking around. Hey, up, what's going on?
Make your
Hey,
way
up,
up to
up.
the guild hall. You can see the shop of Sammy's Sundries has been demolished to.
I really thought you were gonna say is completely untouched.
That's a
I was hoping you'd fucking say you.
I was anticipating
The
it.
only thing
Fuck
that
Sammy.
seems to be unharmed is the actual sign itself that just says Sammy's Sundries as it's sat in a burning pile of ash. And you think, God, death of a great salesman right there.
I think that
Unbelievable.
definitely broke. I'll cherish this
Um,
horny gem in his memory.
You head up to the guild hall. Much of the same. There's bodies strewn about. The only difference here now is that they're not as burnt, they're not as charred, but they are just as sort of dismembered. These are now guild members that you've seen here that have basically died either in the fight or trying to flee or save someone, whatever the case might be. And as you approach the guild hall, you can see the almost the entire building has been just reduced to rubble. At the front of it sits a lonely figure atop a pile of corpses that you recognize to be Gideon.
legend.
Giddy.
He's
What, he's alive or?
no, he's very much dead, but
Very much dead.
Less
he's
legend.
taken a lot. He's
See,
taken...
you said legend, and I was like, so he's alive?
No, he died. He died in defense of the
But a
the
lot
city.
of bodies underneath him.
But he took a lot of them with him. It's unfortunately he didn't make it, but he gave as good as he got. The guild hall itself, the only thing that seems to stand is the doors of the entrance of the guild hall. The rest of the building has just been collapsed and crumbled.
Alright, well, there's no fucking unicorn here.
I think we should just leave it to Caleb now, because I reckon the fucking unicorn's gonna be in that fucking lair. If
You guys
I
really
reckon
weren't
we
paying
should start
attention
heading
last
over there.
session.
Are we supposed to know where it went?
No, but last session we got told that that lair is a fucking crater.
Yeah, there could be something in there.
Yeah, water.
Yeah,
Any
it's just
craters
flooded
are
in.
gold, alright? Any craters
Oh
are
yeah,
gold.
it was right next to the fucking
And he
river.
craters a goal. Well,
Oh,
these
I literally have in my D&D names. Anita at the brothel runs the bread stand. Time to put dead for her.
Oh, should we check the brothel?
We can check the brothel. Yeah, good idea.
Velveteen Mermaid.
Unicorn might be, putting on a show.
Oh, please no, I'm not talking about a unicorn.
Who else
Oh.
died? Seraphina. Well, but dead by her. Dead.
We'll head to the Velveteen Mermaid.
Yes, please.
Okay, right. You guys circle back around. It doesn't take you as long to get there, considering you can just walk over the rubble and the buildings rather than walk around them through the streets. And so when you end up at the Velveteen Mermaid, or where the Velveteen Mermaid was, the bridge to get over yonder has been collapsed. So if you want to get over there, you're either going to have to swim or walk all the way out of the Zen Gate, all the way around, and then climb the wall.
Swim.
Swim?
Yeah.
Okay. Both of you roll athletics, please.
Oh, fuck, mate.
Here we go. Oh, not 20. No, it's not.
16.
Wait, it is. Isn't it?
Did you get an out 20 done?
I got not 20. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I would say
So
you...
water does not affect me. I just glide over.
Basically, yeah. You go in and you're swimming like Zohan, where you're just gliding across the water, breaststroke, like clearing 200 yards in one single stroke. Yeah, you swim. You guys swim over the river, and you climb your way through, and then you end up in front of the area where the Velveteen Mermaid was. You can see the roof of the building that the Velveteen Mermaid was in has seemingly just been almost cut straight off, clean, and it's just sat there as like a pile of rubble on the side. You look down into the area where the Velveteen Mermaid was, and it looks like, well, do you wish to go wade through?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it.
So you guys go to the Velveteen Mermaid, and you open the door, which seems a bit weird because there's no walls around it. But you open the door regardless, and you look down into the staircase that led into the area, and it looks very dark. And you start to make your way through, and you find that it's getting a bit damp. And eventually you hit a pool of water before you even get to the entrance of the Velveteen Mermaid.
Where the fuck's his water coming from?
From the river.
There's a river?
Yeah. You just swam through it, you bastard.
There's a river around this. Huh? Thought I was just stepping over
swam.
that shit.
So the inside of the Velveteen Mermaid has been flooded. You can't even get down the steps basically to look inside.
Interesting. How long can I hold my breath?
I think it's like 2 minutes plus your Constitution modifier.
For no. I doubt the unicorn's down there.
No, unlikely, as it may seem. Yeah.
Piggly, I feel we should turn around.
Yeah.
This seems fruitless.
I feel like we should go find Fiscal.
Okay. Fiscal. We reach your POV. You
Taking notes, I hope.
wander in the streets of Varlin, or the area formerly known as Varlin. And there's a lot of death and destruction around. Buildings crumbled. It seems like only a little while ago that you were walking down these streets trying to unearth some grand plot or some great scheme, and you walk through the streets now being afflicted by that grand scheme. Where did you say you were going to? The docks?
I got told that Antonio was headed that way, so I was going to follow suit.
Yeah, you make your way over, and you see a group of a few mercenaries, a few goons, and Antonio stood at the entrance to the the warehouse where you first quote unquote met. Again, it's been destroyed, smoldering, and it's by and large a good portion of it has just been imploded, as it's sort of filled with water, bubbling, and there's bits of rubble, debris, a few bloated bodies in there as well. What would you like to do?
Has he clocked me yet, or am I still like a bit ways back?
You're a bit of a ways back. He's currently just talking to one of his subordinates.
Okay. I'm going to summon Krezion to my side as a rat.
As a rat, okay.
That's not something I can. Yeah, no, that is something I can do. Yeah, as a rat.
It's fine. I would have let you do a rat anyway.
No,
So yeah, he appears as a rat summoned in your hand, and he sort of skitters around for a little bit in your hand, gets used to his new body, and he looks up at you and he goes, "Yeah."
Do me a favor. Get close to them. I want to hear what they're saying.
Okay. Almost before you even finish your sentence, he jumps off your hand and skitters over to them. Are you gonna beam into his eyes?
Yes, but first off, I'd like to just kind of pull myself to one side and like go invisible.
Okay. I'll say you don't need to go invisible because of the amount of sort of smoke and ash. You could just crouch behind some ruins, a ruined building. You wouldn't need to go invisible for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you let Krezion go. You beam into his eyes, and very strange seeing the world from that low down. But as Krezion starts to get closer, you can hear a few of the a few of the mercenaries talking, and then you can see Antonio talking to one of his subordinates or his right hand man there, and he's basically just saying to him like, "Yo, the warehouse that we got here, man. We need to get a new spot now to keep all this shit. You know how much we lost here?" And his subordinate's like, "Hey, Antonio, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but these things is out of our control." And Antonio's like, "My dad's gonna fucking kill me. Look, we need to try and salvage something from this, okay? Maybe we can pin it on the Havanas, say they took the shipment before we got here and it got destroyed in the fighting, something like that. What do you think?" And then as the guy's going to answer, he's like, "What the fuck do I care what you think, asshole?"
Oh.
And they just continue on, basically just talking to each other about how to how to present this information to their father.
Okay, I'll get Krezion to come back to me, and I want to turn him back into an owl.
Okay.
And I would like to send him to check the forests. To see
You
if
want
he
him to
can
scout the forest, okay.
Yeah, because I feel a unicorn might go to the forest.
You summon Krezion back as an owl, and with the rapid switch, he's still on the floor as an owl, and it takes him a little bit of time to get adjusted, and then he shakes his head, and then he flies off, and he goes into the direction of the forest through the smoke, and he eventually just disappears. You're now just left in the scenery, in the ambience of the ruins around you.
I'm going to pull out the Veiled Nexus book and see if there's anything new.
The Veiled Nexus book, when you pull it out, it looks like it's lost whatever enchantment it had on it. You thumb through the pages of the book. They seem dark, blackened even, and some of them appear to crumble at your touch. It looks like whatever enchantment was giving you this information, the magic behind it, has seemingly worn out or has been taken from the book.
Okay.
And now all you're left with is the material component that comprised the enchantment itself.
Okay, I'll put it back in my bag. I'm sure I can utilize that at some point. Cool. I'll walk over to Antonio and I'm just gonna go. Why'd you leave so soon?
He's talking to his friend, and then he sort of spots you from the corner of his eye, and he finishes up saying something, and then he turns back around to you and he says, "What do you mean? You got a place to be? Well, why are you so fucking worried about me?"
Well, I mean, I thought we were gonna head back to Demetriel and deal with Jermaine and the Havana cartel, but came down from the tower, you were gone. And by the looks of things, it seems you got a bit of a problem.
Well, yeah, we've all got a fucking problem. Whole fucking town got destroyed.
Yeah,
Huh?
but
You went up there to fight whatever motherfucker was up there. Hole in the sky appeared. Of course, I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. I had to look after my interests while I could.
Okay. Are you gonna stick about and try and help the people, or are you heading back to Demetriel?
There's no fucking people to help, dude.
There are
Look
some.
at this place. If you find me some people to help, I'll see what I can do, but that wasn't my job here.
Okay. Have you seen a unicorn anywhere, by the way?
You taking the fucking piss out of me, huh?
Just answer the question.
Why are you asking me about unicorns?
Because I'm looking for one.
Yeah? Keep looking.
Good. I'm good. Awesome. Right, I'll see you
I
back at
hardly know.
Demetriel.
Get fucked.
Fucking unicorns.
Yeah, as you say that to as you finish up your conversation with Antonio, a few of his goons just sort of start to surround him as if to say, you're done here, kid.
Well, I'd already said I'll see you back at Demetriel, so.
Okay. He's not after a battle. In fact, give me an insight check.
It's a 12.
It's a 12. Okay. You've not known Antonio long, but he's always been a bit prickly. So it doesn't feel out of the ordinary for him to behave like this.
Okay, I'll start walking around, seeing if I can find any
Yes.
signs of the unicorn.
Okay. You look around for the unicorn. As you're going through the streets, your footsteps start to echo in the now ruinous town of Varlin, and you hear a familiar chiming sound. It's very faint and ominous, but you hear it nonetheless. And you look around, almost like a nostalgic sensation. You look around to try and find where that sound could be coming from. And you spy over in the distance on one of the surfaces of the walls of one of the few buildings that are still standing, a huge door appears. Massive door. And you watch as the door opens with a blue shudder, and outside starts to appear in quite a sizable crowd, a lot of townsfolk, and a few guildsmen heading outside of the door. Behind them, it looks like where they've just walked out from looks like a library, and they start to file out. And inside there, you can see, also walking out with the crowd, Kitch.
Has he spotted me?
No, he has not. You're still a bit of distance away. You're not exactly head on with the door, but what you spot is, the door opens, blue flash of light, and a crowd of townsfolk and a few soldiers walk out with them.
Okay, so I'll walk over towards Kitch and I'll ask him how he ended up with Carlin.
As you approach, you can see Kitch he's very weary. He's very tired. He's not on his A game at all. And he's full of cuts and a few scorch marks, but nonetheless, he's alive. and he looks at you and he says, "Fiscal, what happened to you? I thought you were supposed to get reinforcements."
We did, but issues arose and we were trying to gather as many troops as we possibly could.
Your issues have cost the town of Varlin everything.
Yeah, I can see that. I will help rebuild any way I can. I'm sure the other two will try and assist as well. But also, the Crown Prince wasn't exactly forthgiving with troops.
I suppose not. Those royal noble types, they're never good for anything. So I take it you also know Seeker?
Yeah, we've met once or twice.
It's a strange feeling entering his, I don't even know what to call it, shop, room,
Domain.
world, expansion, I don't even know. He's he's worn out, and you watch as he sort of staggers a little bit, and then he goes to sit down and lean back on one of the surfaces or one of the walls that's still left standing. And he says, "I thought we were better prepared. I underestimated Erasmus. His plans, they went far deeper than I thought. To be truthful with you, we only found how deep the treachery lay after you uncovered his room."
What information did you find?
Well, you already know about the runes that were placed around the town.
Mm-hmm.
He kept all sorts of books, scrolls, and strange ingredients and exotic metals. We believe he was trying to extract some kind of, or he was intending to extract some kind of substance from people. We couldn't make a lot of sense from it. A lot of the guildsmen, they're not so well versed in the arcane. In fact, Erasmus was our arcane expert, and you saw how that went.
Do you know if Belfour made it out?
I hope so. I mean, there was a rush as soon as the attack started. I tried my best to defend the town and save the people, but it got too much. And Talara, she gave the order. She told me to keep as many people alive as possible, even if it meant sacrificing her and the guild, or even the town. I had no choice.
Last we saw of Thalara, she was alive.
She lives.
Potentially. She's currently with a unicorn. It's a whole thing, don't worry.
Every time something strange happens in this town, it's somehow always to do with you.
I've only been here 2 weeks.
Correct.
Find that strange. Either you're meant for great things, or you're meant to destroy things. Either way, you seem to have that effect.
Well, only time will tell, I suppose. But here's hoping it's for great things. I'm gonna go talk to Carlin, but rest up, Kitch.
Ah. He must have given you a different name. Okay. Anyway, he's not very talkative as of late, but maybe he'll talk to you. I don't know.
Okay.
And as he says that, he stands up and he sort of starts wobbling over to the crowd and helps the soldiers direct them around.
Okay, cool. I'll make my way inside the giant ass doors.
You make your way in to the room. And inside, like you said before, from what you could see on the side that you were at, it looks like a library, much larger than you've seen before. And in the center, there is a usual figure of Carlin, or as he seems to be known, Seeker. And he's now stood before you, and he acknowledges your presence, sort of beckons you forward, and he says, "Fiscal, come forward."
I will make my way forward.
Tell me, what did you find in Demetrio?
My daughter?
Anything else?
We found a big painting monster.
Something more?
A ring of familiar?
I believe you may have encountered someone very important to you. Well, important to you being here. I'm not sure you yet know.
Care to give me a bit of insight there?
Give me an insight check.
Okay. Not 20, baby. No, it's not that 20. It's a 10.
Oh, okay. It's a 10. Okay. Carlin, every
Fail.
time you've spoken to him, he's always had this air of mystery around him. And it looks like now he's expended a lot of energy. You get the semblance that the way that the room looks now is kind of how it originally is meant to look, because he's used a lot of power to contain so many people for so long and bring them back.
Okay.
But he's being candid with you at the moment. It doesn't look like he's putting up as much of a mysterious facade any longer. And he's straight with you. One thing he won't give up, though, is that he doesn't seem like he's willing to tell you what he knows at the moment. He says, "Truthfully, I'm happy you found your daughter. It tends to make people perform a little bit better
Pause.
when they have something to work for. Now, on to more important matters. What happened to Erasmus?"
Well, we fought him on the tower that's sprouted out of the Zen garden. And he got sucked up into the rift.
Yes, I felt a strange presence when the attack started. Erasmus, of course, but also through the rift there was something far more powerful than I anticipated. I fear my magic can no longer keep me in Varlin. I'll have to relocate somewhere. I suppose you've noticed a number of enchantments that were previously held have now lost their effect.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. You feeling okay?
To put it bluntly, no. The magic that I wield, I stockpile. I choose to spend it as you would currency. You could say, in a manner of speaking, I'm close to bankrupt at the moment, and I need a new source of energy to power my magic.
I hear Demetriel's good this time of year.
I've never had much interest in Demetriel. There's too many secrets. But beggars can't be choosers. I'll look into Demetriel and perhaps setting up a base there. I see you have also read some of my works.
Regarding the Veiled Nexus book.
No, that was just an enchantment. But I believe when you went into Erasmus's quarters, you found one of my books there.
We found a couple. What could you be referring to? The Tome of the Eternal Guardian? Or are you more privy to that of the obscure alchemy regarding Mordecai?
I was more interested in the theoretical history of Varlin. Of course, I had to call it theoretical so as not to spark any interest. But the truth had to be out there, and the concealment of the truth has wrought this destruction. The tragedy of House Evercrest. And I wrote that book, along with many others.
I do vaguely remember what he spoke of. You'll have to forgive me, Carlin. It's been a rough few days. Could you potentially jog my memory slightly?
Of course, he recites to you, because you found this book, the magic that surrounds this place allows it to be read again. So I'll send this. This was just about the Evercrest family, but one of the things that is notable about it is that it is written by K. Seeker.
Oh, that's the name. I thought that was like a fucking just a bullet point.
No, that's the name of the author. Yeah, K. Seeker. Now that you are acquainted, you must know in my past I was a avid historian and researcher. I was interested in the truth above all. And as such I gathered my truth into pages, into books, and scattered them across the world.
Seems like somewhat of a career change, though, surely?
Well, to know the truth is to understand power. And as you can see, I, until recently, wielded a lot of power. It may seem an abrupt change of profession to you, but should you ever reach those heights, you will understand.
Okay. Do you have... I know it's a big ask, considering everything that's happened, but do you have those potions that you were synthesizing?
Yes, I do have those potions. Although you will have to remind the DM how many you left to be synthesized.
One really good healing, one really bad dying.
One really good healing and one really bad what?
Dying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he motions, and then a few bottles, well, 2 bottles sort of appear off the top of a random bookshelf, and they sort of float down towards you. And you get a potion of greater healing, as well as there was a specific name for it. Whatever. Just mark it down as a poison vial for now, and I'll fill it out later. He hands it to you. The vial itself is very crude and elementary, but the contents of it, bubbling away, look very viscous and caustic and reactive. The greater healing potion is a similar to some of the other potion bottles you've seen, except the bottom of it is a lot more rotund and there's less of a neck to it. It looks more like just a flask, basically.
Okay.
I believe this should suffice.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're really not going to give me any inkling as to who you're referring to?
I fear there are some things that just spoil the fun.
It's not Bart Aldridge, is it?
Bart Aldridge.
No. Okay. I was gonna say
He sort of hovers over to a different section as he gets himself readjusted, and he says, "In time, you will come to know of whom I speak. For now, I would make sure you keep a close eye on your allies and your enemies alike."
Okay. You're telling me to be cautious, I assume.
There's a certain contract that you fulfilled for me that has paid greatly, and I'm grateful for it. And he motions over to the other side of the library, and you can see a huge mass on the other side with two piercing yellow eyes just looking down through the library straight towards you two.
Okay. Can I roll a perception check?
You may.
That's a nat 20.
You immediately recognize that this is the. You can't make out many details, but the yellow eyes and its stature alone is enough for you to make out that this is some kind of magically enhanced or modified version of the fell owl egg, or the creature that came from the fell owl egg.
Cool. What do you plan on doing with that, Carl?
Mostly, it's giving off enough magical energy to sustain what you see around you. Though in time, I intend to use it to protect any assets I may have out on the field. To that end, I would like to supply you with this. And he motions over, and a ivory whistle appears in your hand before you. It's got blue etchings in it that follow circular patterns all across it, and it's got a strange angled sort of cut where I don't know what you call that part of the whistle, but it usually has like a little hole at the top for the sound to actually get out of.
Yeah.
That looks like it's angled, and it's got sort of something protruding out from inside. And he says, "Should you find yourself in the most dire of straits, feel free to call upon an ally." And he motions for you to blow into the whistle.
I'll blow into the whistle.
You blow into the whistle. You don't hear anything, but you look anticipatingly towards where the creature was, and you no longer see it there. And you sort of look around for a second, and then you look above you, and you can see perched on the very tops of one of the shelves, again, a huge lumbering figure with a strange grace to it, but it's staring down at you. Again, most of his features clouded with those yellow eyes focused on you as his head sort of starts turning slightly while it's focusing on you.
Cool. Well, thank you, Carlin. I appreciate it. Does this have limited uses, or can I just use it whenever?
No, I wouldn't be flippant with its usage. The creature will obey for a short period. I fear if you overuse it, and I'm not there to remind it whom it serves, you may have another fight on your hands.
Okay, duly noted. One more question, and then I'm sure I'll get out of your hair. Just oh, sorry, two more questions. What did you mean when you said keep an eye on allies and enemies alike?
You know your own past. I fear you have yet to be acquainted with your allies. There are some that travel amongst you that carry with them certain afflictions, and if you do not see to it, may be the end of you.
Okay. Final question. Is Claude Voss my father?
I'll never tell. Carlin doesn't say anything to that question, and he says, as I told you, there are some things that are better left for you to discover.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you to recharge. I'm sure I'll be seeing you again shortly. Or at some
And
point in
Fiscal,
the future. Yes?
I know you sought the help of the Raven Queen.
Yes.
Be cautious.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What's with your beef with the Raven Queen?
I have no qualms with the Raven Queen. I have qualms with any divinity. They hoard power for themselves and do not give it freely. There must always be a price.
Okay.
And oftentimes the price of devotion turns into fanaticism. And the result, the emotions to the door that you just came into, destruction. I'm not in any position to tell you what to do, what not to do, who to trust, who not to trust. That's for your own choices to make. But the Raven Queen has a reputation, and I suggest you learn more before you deepen your relationship.
Have you got any books on it?
No.
Confident.
Based on what Callan's just been talking about, you get the impression that he once held a lot of knowledge. He then dispersed it so as not to be burdened with it. But he was confident in the fact that he's left the knowledge out there in the world. That, combined with the fact that he doesn't have much tolerance for deities, suggests to you that he wouldn't have writings or books on any deities, really.
I'll just give him a gentle nod and I'll make my way towards the door while kind of like just out the corner of my eye glaring at the fell owl thing.
It's shocking to you how quickly that thing moved above all else. In the second it took for you to blow the whistle, for you to look to where the owl was, in that instant it had already left the area it was at and travelled a great distance to you and was then above you, seemingly without a sound and at great speed. And that makes you a little bit, well, if anything you've learned from this engagement with Carlin, makes you a bit more cautious. But nonetheless, you exit the domain of Kalin Seeker, and you are now back out into the expanse.
How long have I been chatting away?
It appears that where you have entered and exited, it's only been probably about 2 hours.
Okay.
So for you now, it's about 10 a.m.
Okay. I'll summon Crezion to my aid.
Mm-hmm.
And I will ask him if he has seen any unicorns or disheveled looking women.
So remind me, what's a unicorn?
It's like a big white horse with a horn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw one of those.
Okay, where was it?
It's in the forest.
Okay, could you take us there?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. Go find Piggly and LDB. I'll meet you over by the tower.
Roger,
Noted, first
Roger. He darts off your hand and flies in the direction.
Roger, Roger.
Flies in the direction of the tower. Okay, unless you other two want to do anything
So
specific.
is he coming to find us, Cression, is he?
Yeah.
Or are you coming to find us?
No,
Okay.
he's going to find you, and then
Mhm.
he's going to lead
We'll meet you at the tower.
to where the tower was. Because remember, the tower
Gotcha.
fell, apparently.
Okay, do you guys want to have done anything in those 2 hours, or just should we cut to where you guys all meet up?
I think we should just meet up because I'm not sure what we can do in this burning city.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, you hear Creziorn flying. Well, not flying. You hear him sort of calling from above, and he lands on.
What call does he make?
And
You guys-
owl call.
Cression, mate, what the fuck? Get up there.
He can't speak.
Just immediately knows it's Crezion.
No, I remember him being inside my cock.
Yeah,
Dan,
when he was a
He
spider.
sees an owl. He sees an owl, and then he pulls out his axe. He's like, "Oh, round 2, baby."
I've got your brother now, I'm getting you, baby.
Yeah, you hear Crezion sort of hooting in the air.
We go. That
Um,
looks important.
and
Let's follow
yeah,
that.
He shits on you, and you're like, "Oh, you little bastard!" You chase him all the way to the
I'm
tower.
definitely fucking throwing my axe out now. Return! What?
Return! Return! Huh.
Yeah, just keep going.
Nonetheless, you guys make your way all the way over to the crumbled remains of the tower that fell in the previous episode. Okay, you guys all meet up now. What's your name? Fiscal. You
That's his full name, actually.
you watch Piggly being carried aloft by 2 very strange looking humanoids, and LDB walking up to you with a helmet on, and also blood in his hands.
Bloodshot eyes
And bloodshot eyes.
from crying.
I'll kind of like just amble over to them. Like, by this point, I'm a bit fucking tired and kind of just everything that's going on. I'm thinking of back to what Carlin's previously said to me. And yeah, I'm just mulling over that as I walk over to him, and I'm kind of like sparringly look over at the 2 humanoids and think nothing of it, because I imagine they're in full armor.
Yes, they will be. Yeah.
And then I'll look at LDB and go, "Oh, so you found Carrion then? I take it he's okay?"
Yeah, we did find him. Fucking dead.
Ah.
As shit.
Sorry, I tried to hold that.
I guess we'll have to let Kel know when we eventually find.
But I did get his cool helmet.
Yeah, it's
If somebody could
cool.
hock 2 on it and give it a bit of a rub.
Crezion seems to have. Wait, hang on a second, Piggly. Weren't you unconscious?
I was.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I had a weird vision. Again.
Was it Varathan?
Running trend.
No, it was. At first, it was 3 beings. I saw 3 figures. One had 4 muscular arms.
Shit, about us now.
One was a noble with an ethereal crown. And one was a disfigured puppet.
LDB says, "Can you repeat yourself?"
For the sake of the notes, I'll say there was one with 4 arms and 6 eyes that was tall
Figures.
and muscular.
4 arms, 6
6
eyes.
The
Tall,
other,
but not as tall as me, and muscular.
but not as muscular as you. Yeah.
Of
and
course.
Then the other was thin, with a black crown and cosmic or glowing orbs rotating around its neck.
Glowing.
And then the third one, yeah, there's no other way to explain it other than a puppet.
So, can I just put like
Basically,
twisted
or-
puppet or something?
Yeah, twisted puppet-looking creature.
Okay, well, as long as you're okay. Anyway, Crezion seems to think he's found Thalara and Elena in the forest, so I feel like we should go find them, see if they're okay.
I concur.
Cool. And then I'll just telepathically say to Crezion, "Let's go," and start following.
God, a crazy.
Roger, Roger. He flaps up into the sky.
Roger, Roger.
And you guys follow his lead. You guys make your way towards the Silverwood, following Crezion's direction. And you end up at a clearing. Funnily enough, this appears to be the same spot where you had slain the original fell owl. You guys just can't escape that tragic misstep. Nonetheless, there before you, you see in the clearing, it appears in the presence of the magic of the fey creature. The area around it, the immediate area around it, is growing shrubbery, flowers, vines, that kind of thing. And the unicorn is currently lay down, and both Elena and Thalara are lay on its side, basically resting up against it.
Well, I'll make my way over towards the unicorn.
Okay, as you step towards where the unicorn is, the area, obviously it sees your approach, and it says to you telepathically, take a care that you don't disturb their rest.
Are they okay?
They are recovering. That is all I can say.
Why did you teleport them out here?
This was the closest area that I could see that was safe.
Okay. And what do we call you? Well, what's your name?
My name is Gjallarhorn.
I'm going to walk over to the unicorn, touch it, and cast tongues.
You don't have to touch the unicorn, you can touch yourself.
Yeah, but if I touch the unicorn, it's the spell grants the creature you touch the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language can hear the target, can understand what it says.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay. With the imbued and bolstered, I don't know what the word is for speaking, dialogue, magic. Basically with the enhanced vocabulary now given to the unicorn, you can all understand it.
Hey.
As it speaks out to you telepathically, but it's obviously you can't respond back to it telepathically. You just repeat whatever you want to say. And it says, what did you ask it?
I asked it its name.
Yeah. So it says, I'm called Gjallarhorn.
Nice to meet you, Gjallarhorn.
You know, you really should, in future, avoid giving your name to creatures of the Fae.
Why is that?
There are many rules when engaging with creatures of the Fae, and they're many and complex and mostly lethal. But some semblance of logic must be followed.
Yeah, but I mean, you seem like a nice enough guy.
I'm a Fae. Nice doesn't factor into it, but still I feel it incumbent upon me to warn you.
Okay, well, I shall certainly bear that in mind.
I hope you can take care of these two from this point onwards.
Will we see you again?
It's unlikely, but fates often have a way of intertwining themselves.
I'm gonna quickly summon Crezion as a spider to me, and
Yeah.
I'm going to put a teeny little void mark on him.
On Crezion?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna just like telepathically tell him to jump onto LDB.
To
Oh, mucker.
LDP. Okay. Fair enough. You watch as the unicorn slowly gets up. Yellowhorn starts to rear up. Very, very big, this creature. And as it takes final care just to look at the two that is left on the ground recovering, it starts to. It looks like it rears back as if it's about to start galloping, and it starts jumping into the air with its footprints leaving behind splashes of light as it starts to ascend into the air and eventually disappear in a flash of light.
Never mind. Because you made it go upwards, that kind of ruined my plan. I thought you were just going to make it straight teleport. I was going to try and teleport with it.
Teleport with it?
Yeah.
Why?
Just to see what happens.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's gone now. So it ran into the air and then it teleported away. You guys don't know where to, but as it leaves,
There it goes.
some of the magic that was around where they were staying stops growing basically, and now it's just sort of stationary as Valara and Elena are still sound asleep in the thicket.
Okay. Who's Thalara's the bigger one, isn't she? She's quite like taller and
Yeah, she's
muscular.
pretty stocky, athletic looking. Yeah.
I'll say to LDB, do you want to pick up Thalara? I'll grab Elena and we'll make our way back to the town.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
I'll pick Thalara up.
And I'll pick Elena
Great.
up.
Okay. Yeah. Are you guys just making your way back to town now?
Yeah.
We've still got a long rest before we do
Yeah, but we need to find somewhere to have a long rest first.
the floor.
Any floor.
I mean,
This
yeah,
floor
to
looks
be
nice.
fair, I mean, we could set up a campfire. There's wood. Piggly can cast
with
fireball.
we could leave them in the forest and do it here, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to go back to town for anything urgently.
I don't
What time's it, Bez?
believe so.
Probably taking you about a few hours to get here. I'll probably say maybe afternoonish.
The noonish.
Well, we might as well just wait until we get back to the town and then go from
Yeah,
there,
go on
I
then.
guess.
Yeah, we'll pick them up and
Yeah.
head on back then.
Yeah, so I'll pick up Elena and then I'll start making headway towards.
Cool. Take the load. Brad, are you still carried by your skelly boys?
Yeah.
Do you want me to carry them as well?
You guys are walking
carrying
through.
them,
You can
carrying you.
see winter seems to be thawing out a little bit here. It's not as cold as it was. Snow's melting, and a bit more of the greenery is coming through now. It makes the travel back a little bit simpler and easier. But as you clear the tree line and you look upon Varlin again, you get the same sensation of it's actually gone. There's a sense of remorse there still. But nonetheless, you guys power on through and you make your way back to the ruins of Varlin. What do you want to do at this point? Because there's no real buildings or anything for you to be able to take shelter in or anything like that.
We found Valara and that, didn't we?
Take them towards.
We still got our wagon
Liliana.
stuff.
All that, yeah.
You've still got your wagon. The army's obviously it's got traveling supplies and stuff because they intended to always come back at some point. So
Have they set up like a camp or anything? Or can we do that
not
with
here
them?
because you guys came straight into the fight and then
Okay.
took out the enemies and now he's just putting bodies away. So there's not been like a forward camp set up yet.
If they, because obviously there was some people that came out of Carlin's mystical reliquary, they were like injured and stuff. Have they maybe start setting up like a med camp or anything?
They're still a bit shaken up from what you know of how Carlin's
No, I mean the
Shell.
soldiers. Have they started setting anything up for
the
townsfolk?
soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh, the blue capes you mean from Demetriel.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's quite a big job ahead of them. So their first primary thing was to get rid of the dead bodies, so as to prevent the spread of disease and infection, that kind of thing. So there's been no camp set up yet, but I imagine in the next few hours there'll be some temporary accommodation. Sure.
Okay.
Where did all the townsfolk go with Kitch when they were all leaving?
You probably inhaled them breathing down your fucking mic, you daft cunt.
Was
They went with I like this one.
What was the question?
Where did Kitch and all the townsfolk go to? Where are they headed?
Oh, where are they headed, not where they
Yeah.
came
Yeah,
from.
yeah. Where are they heading? Yeah.
Well, they.
Like what exit?
It looks like they were going up towards the what's it called now?
Trade gate.
Yeah, up to the trade gate basically to make their way back with the rest of the army once it was done. So if they were going to be setting up a camp or anything like that, it would be around the trade gate road.
Alright. Do we want to go their way?
I think it would potentially be a good idea to swing by. I say swing by as if it's on the way, but like head towards the where the frosting is. See if there's any.
The Rosebud.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
we'll go up to the trade gate and then potentially make our way to Demetriel, whether that's with Elena and Thalara in tow in our cart or what.
You could organize it like that, yeah. What I'll say is if you go into the Rosebud sort of sanctuary up there at the minute is a few soldiers carefully peeling at the rose itself, and as you sort of walk up to it and look on the inside, you can see there is Dan, and he's sort of slumped on a wall near where Liliana is. A lot of the colour has faded from her skin. Hair's now no longer covered in leaves, just looks normal and almost fading back to the red colour it was when you first found her. The antlers that were on her head have now sort of cracked. And yeah, she's now sort of slumping forward a little bit as well. And they're both just sort of leaned against the wall. You can't tell from here whether Liliana's alive or not.
I'll go up to him. I'll just ask him how he's doing. Obviously, this is the first time I'm speaking to him since we got here. So
Who's this Dan? Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks at you and says, "Oh, more of you guys, is it?"
Yeah. I know words only go so far, but I am deeply apologetic as to what's happened. Yeah.
It's a damn shame. The amount that she's done for this town, and this is her end.
Fates aren't necessarily decided.
He's he looks like he was resting up a little bit, but in the state that he's in, he's very sort of defeated. Basically, he doesn't look like he's in a position to accept like condolences or anything like that. He's just sort of distraught and out of it. He's like, I suppose
Well,
Do you want to come with us?
I imagine I'll want to stay with Liliana.
Oh, we could take him to Demetria. Do you want to come to Demetria, mate, or something? Or drop you off? Start a new life?
No, my life was here, and it's been destroyed. There's nothing left for me. So it's alright. I'd rather stay here and live out the rest of what is to come.
Well,
Are you going to rebuild then?
Okay.
Maybe.
Because it's all fucked.
I'm not sure. All I know at the moment is I'd like to be left alone.
Fair enough.
I put my hand on his shoulder and say, I hope I see you again, Danvar, and then I'll make my way. I imagine I'm just kind of fireman's carrying Elena over my shoulder at this point.
You're carrying her over your shoulder towards the trade gate, where a large portion, or indeed the entire remaining survivors of the Varlin destruction, are now sort of being prepared through shaking hands to make the travel to Demetriel.
We'll go find. Can I see if I can see Kitch or Belfour? Belfour would be a good one.
Belfour you can't make out around here, but Kitch, yeah, you can see Kitch is sort of towards the front of the pack, and he's helping to organize some of the horses that the soldiers have given.
Okay. Kitch.
Yeah, he looks towards you, gives you a like an upwards nod, like to say, what's up?
What's happening?
Sorry.
So we've got Elena and Thalara. We'll take them in our cart back with us to Demetriel. Obviously, it'll take a couple days to get there, but why don't you meet us at the Rusty Nail, just outside of Cutler's Gate?
I do not know
Cutler's.
much of the area in Demetriel, but if Thalara and Elena live, then just give me the location on the map and I will meet you there.
Do I have a map of Demetriel on me?
No, but upon hearing that request, one of the soldiers sort of comes up and explains to Kitch sort of the general area, etc. And he seems to have a good enough idea of where to go. And he says to you, if it is all right, I would like to take Lara and Elena myself.
Yeah, sure. Where do you want them?
There is like a couple, like 2 or 3 carts set up already. So he sort of motions to the one that he was strapping up, and he says, "Please just leave them here as gently as you can, and I will make sure they get to Demetriel."
Okay. Cool. If you need to get in contact with us at all, just head to the Black Lotus Den, and they'll get the message out.
Understood.
And I'll go gently lay Elena down in the back of the carriage.
This procession, this crowd of people, are made up of a motley number and different inhabitants. Some of them a bit more well off, some of them dressed in rags, most of them equally as charred and bloody and messy, and all of them equally now being set back to square zero with this attack. But they are looking towards the horizon and expecting that they will be able to rebuild their lives, or most of their lives, in Demetriel. you get the sense that the town of Varlin, not only has it been lost, but the spirit of the people has also been lost for the time being. And while it won't be forgotten, it's something that a lot of people are going to try and forget in the coming days.
Fiscal's just gonna kind of amble over to where the cart was moored. He's just gonna kind of clamber into the back, not very delicately at all. It's been a long few days. He's just gonna like kind of lean against the wall, close his eyes, and just kind of reflect on the recent events.
What's going through Fiscal's mind right now?
Well, obviously the aftermath of the battle. A lot of people are without a home, feeling like they don't belong, and he kind of resonates with that in a sense. Obviously, with his past and not really having parents around and having a fend for himself, it kind of resonates. But then he's also reflecting on the fact he's just found out he had a daughter, and the words of Carlin are ringing in his head, and he's just a little bit overwhelmed, I think.
Yeah, with that sense of, well, we could say a type of kinship, albeit not in the best of circumstances, but a type of kinship with the people of Varlin. You feel a little bit indebted to them, in a sense, that you want to make sure that you can make sure that they get reacquainted and resituated and restart their lives. At the same time, the conflicting emotion of, well, what's your life going to look like from here? Just what is it that you guys have sort of stumbled into? And more importantly, how are you going to keep those that you want to protect safe? And these thoughts are swirling around in your mind as you're sat on the cart, looking at the road ahead and the long journey that is to come. We're going to close the session there for tonight.
Can we long rest before we finish?
Nope.
Just so we're all squared for okay.
Nope.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, you can long rest.